Uh-oh.
If you went back many years, you would have been told that classic servers were never gonna happen, but people asked for them on forums, on social media, and even at BlizzCon for a very long time, and eventually we got them. If you went back a bit less time, you never would have thought Blizzard would put time into creating seasonal servers for WoW Classic, and now not only have we had one seasonal server, but a second one is on the way. And if you went back a couple of months, no one believed that hardcore would go from a niche thing on our realms to something that Blizzard will look to make official by releasing their own realms.
I do think that Blizzard waited too long for the hardcore realms. I think if they had come out last month or so, preferably 2 months ago, then yeah, for sure people would want to play them a little bit more. But like classic WoW, it has ups, it has downs. Yeah, I don't know if it's still got that same level of hype.
Instances of it'll never happen, happening. Yeah. Sometimes enough people wanting something is enough for it to really happen. Yep. And it should happen again. For the topic of today's video, Classic Plus. Classic Plus has been an idea that's been talked about for as long as Blizzard has confirmed that Classic Realms will be existing. What if instead of going down the line of expansions once again, Blizzard instead committing to finishing storylines that began in vanilla, adding new...
You know where they should have stopped? They should have stopped right here. Like, I think that they should have done BC and Wrath. Like, it was the right decision. But Vanilla WoW was the best. And I think BC and Wrath didn't even come close. Vanilla WoW was just like... It was so good. It was the best.
Adding new content in line with the spirit of the game, and growing vanilla World of Warcraft into something relatable, but ultimately a little bit different too. So today I'm going to go into why Classic Plus is ultimately the true end game of classic servers, and is something that should be seriously considered by Blizzard. I want to start off by saying that Classic WoW for an MMORPG is a very popular game. Little has changed development-wise.
Like, what the fuck is this? Look at how many people there are that are actually just playing classic World of Warcraft.
And what Blizzard did well over a decade ago now is pulling in hundreds of thousands, maybe even at points millions of players.
Who knows?
Now, we don't have exact player numbers on how many people are active in the game, but we do have some information on this matter. Activision Blizzard's quarterly reports are published publicly, and one of the bits of information you can find there is the monthly amount of active users across the different development studios. Here's the most recent one for the quarter between April 1st ending June 30th. Across Blizzard, the most notable performers were Diablo, with Diablo 4 coming out in June, and Diablo Immortal saw an increase of players because of this. They also mentioned that Dragonflight is outperforming more recent expansions for the same point in time. Importantly,
I think that makes sense. I mean, Dragonflight, I mean, who the fuck would be playing the game if it was Shadowlands? This was during Korthia. Korthia was like the worst patch Blizzard's ever made.
For Blizzard, it also says that an individual who accesses the same game on 2 platforms or devices in the relevant period would generally be counted as a single user, and in June they saw 26 million monthly active users. Let's say an estimate of 12 million of those were on Diablo as the bulk of players, 4 million on Overwatch. Is that too few perhaps? I know the game's taken a hit since the PvE cancellation, but I reckon it's more popular than you'd expect.
Yeah, I bet there's a lot of people that play Overwatch.
Million perhaps on retail WoW. We know that it's exceeding previous...
Yeah, I think there's probably like at least 300, 400 people on retail WoW.
Expansions, it has frequent content releases, and a roadmap for the future too, which leaves about 4 million users left between the remaining games. Day Classic, on average, had 1/3 of the players that retail does. We're still looking at about 2 million monthly active users. Again, this seems a little bit high, and it may peak at that amount with patch releases. Even if it was literally half of that and Classic saw 1 million monthly active users, that would work out to a bare minimum of just over 33,000 unique players every single day for 30 days in a row.
That's a lot.
So in reality, it's going to be a 6-digit figure quite easily, I reckon. Let's bring up some other MMOs.
Well, I bet there's the number one MMO, Diablo 4. I think that obviously Classic WoW has a tremendous appeal that retail WoW can't capture, and no other MMO can capture. Classic WoW is the only MMO, besides maybe RuneScape. I don't really know a lot about RuneScape, but it's one of the only MMOs, at least, that leveling truly matters. The whole world matters. Like, getting professions while leveling is still meaningful. Doing things before level 60 makes a difference. It was insane. Like, I can't... Sometimes I think about how good Classic WoW was. Like, I'll lay in bed and I'll think about, like, how good Classic WoW was and, like, how good Elden Ring was. And I'll just think about it. Like, how the fuck did this even happen?
That are in active development to see what kind of daily, non-unique player counts there are. New World just got a major update not long ago. Under 25,000 players peak for the past month.
No, it's not true. The new update that New World had was a fucking a battle pass, okay? So it was not really a big update. The last time New World had an update was Brimstone Sands, and it was like maybe 8 months ago or something.
Dark peaked over 40,000 in the last month, average about 25,000 or so. Black Desert Online, daily average of about 25,000. This does have another launcher though, so this doesn't show the full picture. There is a site that checks RuneScape's player count every 5 minutes, which is publicly displayed information on either game's homepages. At the far right of this graph, you can see the most recent player counts, with old school RuneScape being somewhere around 92,000 players as a monthly average, and RuneScape 3 around 25,000. We can look at Classic in a different way too through ironforge.pro. This counts the number of characters logged in raids or arenas each week. However, this will count alts as separate characters. Even still, the most recent reset showed just under 430,000 characters. In fact, the two biggest Classic realms, Gehennas in Europe and Benediction in North America, have more non-unique players raiding and PvPing alone than most other MMOs have total players.
Well, there's a lot of people that like Classic WoW. I mean, like, it's really not a surprise. Like, whenever Classic WoW came out, it was like a massive cultural movement. WoW, it's weird to explain it to somebody that wasn't around back then, but WoW was as popular or more popular than like Fortnite or Minecraft is now. Like, WoW had that cultural like relevance. It was so crazy.
I'm getting at here is that Classic World of Warcraft, in the grand scheme of things, is a very big MMO with a huge number of players daily. Many other MMOs will be celebrating record players with what Classic sees regularly. Clearly, there is a demand for a slower paced, simpler, and straight up mechanically easier MMO.
People don't want to play really ball-bustingly hard games with other people that they can be punished for those other people's mistakes. It's just not a good way to retain a large audience. Like, yeah, maybe you can have some people like that, but it's just never going to hit that mainstream appeal.
Classic is currently meeting that demand, but as we progress on through expansions, things do start to noticeably change. Endgame content starts to seriously ramp up in difficulty, class design begins to move away from the familiarity of vanilla, and more systems are added into the game. Wrath, even more so than Kata, feels like a turning point here. Ulduar was a difficult raid for Classic.
Ulduar was why we got Classic Hardcore.
Now, don't get me wrong, every raid ever will see a drop-off in players the longer it goes on, but have you seen the week-by-week drop in raiders during this phase of Wrath of the Lich King Classic on ironforge.pro?
Well, the reason why it went down is because the raid's too hard. That's why. It's because people suck dick at the game and they can't play it. It's not like this is a secret. It happened in retail WoW whenever it came out back in 2009. People are garbage. Too many dad guilds died. Yeah, exactly. It was just long and boring. No, it's because people are bad.
Oh, but see this and think harder raid does not necessarily equal better raid for the majority of players. And trust me, Cataclysm is going to be more challenging than Wrath.
Cataclysm will be the reckoning. Cataclysm raids, I would say, were the first massive jump up in difficulty in WoW's history. Like, if you compare how BWD and like Bastion of Twilight were back in like Cataclysm whenever it came out, it was fucking brutal. Like, the mechanics were actually hard, there were a lot of things happening, and it was all at the same time. I think Cataclysm raids being so hard is why a lot of people quit. Because I remember back in Wrath of the Lich King at the end of the expansion, everybody was running Pug raids. And then as soon as Cataclysm came out, that entire Pug raiding scene died. because the game was too hard.
A long shot. Also, Classic Era getting more popular right now might just not be the biggest of coincidences. And it's not the hardcore scene that has grown on it either. Just your regular vanilla WoW enjoyers are populating the Era realms once again. And Classic Era should continue to exist regardless of what happens, of course. But I can guarantee that nearly every single player there at the moment would at least try Classic Plus.
They would.
Classic is still, to this day, a very popular MMO. The player base is there for Classic Plus to happen, and I'm sure of it. But what about Blizzard actually committing to it and making Classic Plus, though? That's where things tend to get a bit more complicated. This is where time, innovation, and ultimately, money come in. Back in the day, of course, games had far shorter development.
I feel like it's probably easier to develop Classic Plus than develop new Dragonflight content. Like, what the fuck do I know? But, like, it sure seems like it'd be easier to make something that looks like it's 15 years old.
Cycles. It's amazing to see what studios could get done in a couple of years. EverQuest began development in 96 and released in 99. Vanilla itself took an estimated 4 to 5 years of development.
And that was a long time.
And rather famously, the interior for Molten Core for Classic was designed in a few days as a proof of concept to work on a bigger raid than what Onyxia's Lair offered at the time. These days, it's not just re-releasing Classic though, it's rebuilding it to work with Blizzard's modern infrastructure. This has been something we've been made aware of at many different points throughout the game's history so far. This is why you've started to see modern features on the Classic client, such as the reconnect button if you DC.
Just wait till we get the store button on the Classic client. That's whenever we're really going to be back in 2004.
AFK for too long, and more recently the updated Dragonflight options menu. So Blizzard are probably working with a whole lot of random code and scripts and figuring out how to make them work again without totally breaking them when they turn them back on. Meaning for newer assets, encounters and so on, it's still going to be a fair amount of work, right from design, art, sound, all the way to the end product. Also at Blizzard, I get the impression they move existing staff around to suit the needs of different teams rather than hiring someone new to fill gaps which are presented. It does make more sense after all from a financial and company point of view. I bet recently Diablo 4 has been a huge focus for Blizzard, and it seems they've really cleared space to put a lot of effort into that.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Dragonflight has been getting content at a pace we have not seen for many years in retail World of Warcraft. And Classic has had a smaller team so far, but there is plenty going on. Wrath of the Lich King is progressing, we've just had updates to Era, we have hardcore servers, and a new seasonal at some point. All this is good and everything, but outside of the main Classic game, of course talking about Wrath here, there has been so much time between releases. And during this downtime, the rate at which we're progressing through the current Classic expansion is not getting any slower either. When Season of Mastery was announced as a yearly thing, I thought there would be 2, maybe 3 months of downtime between each season. Well, there's
no way they can do Season of Mastery. Like, nobody wants to level a character for 3 months only to have it for 9 more months. People like being able to have something and then hold on to it. I think that's the problem that Season of Mastery had.
Some fun stats for you. Season of Mastery Naxxramas came out over a year ago now, on July 28th, 2022. In fact, Season of Mastery itself released 16th of November 2021 and closed February 14th, 2023. That's 456 days or just under 1 year and 3 months. The Burning Crusade Classic launched 1st June 2021, and Wrath Classic came out
play Classic. Do you think people that play Classic want to have to re-level every 3 months? I don't really know if that's true, man. And I think also, like, you're definitely right that there's like an audience for that, but I don't think that they can really, like, you can't really have a healthy community for that. Like, yeah, sure, there's going to be some people, but I think that's not really enough to like really justify development. You have to do something that's more long term. And I think even so, like, I think doing something that's more long term would hit a much wider audience too.
on the 26th of September 2022. Between those dates is 483 days, or just under 1 year and 4 months. In total, the Burning Crusade Classic was out for just about 1 more month than Season of Mastery was, which is kind of crazy to think about. Which of course, at this point in the video, we get onto something we were going to talk about eventually: the money. Blizzard won't do Classic Plus because it will cost them money. You've probably heard it, and there is definitely something in that statement, but I don't believe it's the cost of developing it that's the problem so much as the opportunity cost of not developing something else. The Classic is really successful as an MMORPG, but not as successful across Blizzard's range of games. And I bet you are waiting for me to bring it up, but over at Jagex, allegedly RuneScape 3 generates higher overall revenue due to their microtransactions, despite old school RuneScape nearing 4 times the amount of monthly players. And
that's one of the unfortunate things nowadays, is the microtransactions do make a lot of money, even if people don't like them.
World of Warcraft, I think retail has more players for sure, and you know what else it also has more of? Microtransactions. Yeah, so I would be very confident that it's going to be getting a lot more work put into it, because what Blizzard can earn back from it is going to be much higher than what they can with Classic. We did just have the WoW token put into Classic though. This will have added some extra value to this version of the game from a financial point of view, and if you take a look at the historic price,
I think that's one of the reasons why people like the Classic WoW, is there's just none of that shit in there. It's just a game, and that's it. That's all there is to it. It's just a game. Of the Classic tokens so far, it's been consistently dropping in all regions. To me, this suggests there are more people paying for tokens and posting it on the auction house relative to those purchasing it with in-game gold. The token, however, is just for Wrath. In vanilla, there is no microtransactions, no token, and only a subscription fee. And for games these days, that's, well, it's not really how it works anymore, is it? Is there another online subscription-based game that's this popular with no token? There would be. There would be if everybody back in 2012 would have quit the fucking game whenever I said that the store mounts were bullshit. We wouldn't have them. But nobody wanted to listen to me, and everybody called me a fucking idiot. And you know what? You get what you fucking deserve.
And no microtransaction. These days you gotta min-max that revenue via several different sources, and that is problematic for vanilla. Vanilla is also far more economy driven than later versions of the game. Gold retains value throughout the entire duration of the game, and the ability to trade it for real life money would very much harm the integrity of the game to an enormous degree, more so than it already does through people buying gold from bots, that is. Vanilla almost feels as though it is unmonetizable beyond the subscription fee. So
I think if they try to add in microtransactions to vanilla WoW, people are not going to be okay with it. I do really, and I don't think that they should be okay with it. Like, this is a 15-year-old game. Like, just don't do it.
For new content to really have a chance to be added, there would have to very clearly be an extremely large demand for it to happen from the player base. And I think this is one of the big factors holding the potential of the game mode back. 100 people can say they hate microtransactions, but it takes one person to engage with it enough for it to be worth it. How is Classic Plus going to see dev time when currently it's hard capped at $15 a month per person, when Dragonflight or indeed other Blizzard games have a...
The reason why Blizzard should do it is because it attracts people to the other versions of the game. Like, I guarantee you that there are people that come back to play Classic WoW and then try out Dragonflight because they get tired of playing Classic WoW. 100% that happens.
Whole range of different ways for money to be spent on them. This is why if you really want to see it, it's worth asking loud and clear for Classic Plus. If enough people get behind it, I think it will give it the greatest chance of existing. And it doesn't have to be perfect, and believe me, for many people it will not be. And between the choice of it's not perfect for everyone and it doesn't exist is kind of a no-brainer to me. Classic Plus would offer huge opportunities for the long term of this game though.
Yep.
It would be a chance to take the story of vanilla in a different direction. I've done near...
I don't think they should take the story in a different direction hardly at all. Like, just make a few more raids, do some more quests, do something like the AQ event again, add in maybe a couple of new zones, and then that's it, right? You don't need to reinvent everything.
Enough an hour's worth of content just on the loose ends of vanilla, or ideas that were scrapped, and they are both some of my most popular videos recently. As Classic naturally progresses into expansions with harder content, more class changes and more additional systems, Classic Plus would offer fresh experiences for people who do want the slower paced, simpler, and straight up easier game. Classic's popularity proves that there is a niche in the MMO market for the type of game that it is.
It's not even a niche, man. There's a lot of mouth breathers. Like what are we talking about, a niche? Like, this is a massive silent majority.
If this whole thing was just nostalgia, it would be long gone by now, but it is not. We got classic servers, we got seasonal servers, we got hardcore servers, and one day I would very much like to see Classic Plus servers.
I would too.
And that is about all I have for you today. Probably a bit of a different take.
I think that's the most important thing for Blizzard to do. If Blizzard makes a Classic Plus, I think the game, like Classic WoW, is going to have a great future. But I also don't think that players, like, there will be some players that do, but I really don't think that players should accept microtransactions at all in Classic Plus. Like, I don't think so. I mean, they don't even have GMs to fix the game. Like, it's been $15. They're not even developing anything anymore. Like, what the fuck are we doing?
Con Classic Plus, I didn't want to go into the gameplay systems too much, as just getting Classic Plus to be committed to in the first place is kind of the bigger deal at the moment. There are certainly issues with it, which I have highlighted in this video, but at the end of the day, a for-profit company is going to do for-profit things, so I hope enough people make it apparent that Classic Plus is something worth investing into. And I don't usually ask, but
I don't think that they should do Classic Plus if they're going to have to add microtransactions into it. Like, don't even bother. If, like, you're going to put, like, store mounts and WoW tokens and boosts, just don't even make it. Just don't bother. Don't waste your time.
do share the message if you do want to see Classic Plus one day. It doesn't have to be on this video either, but posting on forums, social media, even on the comments here, wherever really, let Blizzard know that you're interested in Classic Plus.
Yeah.
A lot of things have happened in Classic because the community has asked for it and kept asking for it. Maybe one day Classic Plus can too. But as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening in, and I'll see you all in the next one very soon.
There it is. What if it was only cosmetics? Nope. Nothing. Nothing, bro. Like, you should not accept any of this shit. What is this? Nothing. Like, you're paying $15 a month to play a game that came out 20 years ago. Get the fuck out of here. Like, I'm gonna lose my goddamn mind. Cosmetics are fair? Nope. If they add cosmetics, I don't know, I might play it because I'm a streamer, but if I wasn't a streamer, I wouldn't fucking play it. It's an abomination. Absolutely not. Would you be excited if they announced Classic? Yeah. Sure. Yeah, but I mean, like, nah, I mean, I would play it for content, but, like, besides that, no, that's whatever to me, man. It's a slippery slope. Bro, it's not a slippery, that's a cliff. Yeah, no, man, like, no way. It's done. Final Fantasy 14, $30 to $50 amount. Yeah, it's like a new game. Like, I don't really... Look, I have given up on expecting gamers to have a backbone. I've given up. Video game players deserve to get fucked in the ass. That's just the way it is. So I'm not going to go and get angry or upset about this kind of stuff because that's life. Like, people, like, I'm going to get outvoted. People are going to be like, well, I've got the money, I can spend it. Acting like they're pimps. It's a consumer thing. Yeah, it is. Most gamers are addicts. It is what it is. Yeah, exactly. Do you think the intent is for Classic to catch up with retail? No, I don't think so. I don't know what they're gonna do now. I don't know. I don't think they even really planned for it. This is a good video. It's a Willy video. We'll link it. Anybody like Willy is one of the only people that makes like classic WoW content, man. We knew you weren't a gamer, loser. Yeah, I'm different, of course. You say I was spending thousands on gacha? Yeah, because it's, bro, I make money off the videos. I write that shit off my taxes. Like, I give a fuck. It doesn't even matter to me. And also, I said I gave up on this shit. Like, I'm not gonna go and fight this fucking battle whenever everybody else doesn't care. Fuck that. I'm just gonna have fun, make content, and do what works. Yeah, I'm not a martyr, man. I'm not a, I don't want to make a movement. Like, what the fuck? I don't want to do that. We gamers deserve everything. Yeah, they do. It actually matter? You have a big influence? Really? Then why didn't it matter? Then why they keep making the store mounts? Yeah, then why they keep doing that? What happened there?